Welcome back to GenXGuitar. I'm Mike McAdam, and today we're going to talk about 5 times that Eddie Van Halen sounded like Allan Holdsworth. Check it out here. So a lot of times if I'm talking about Holdsworth to a guitarist, I say one of the good albums to start with him is the Believe It album by Tony Williams' Lifetime. And his playing was probably the most raw on record at that point, and you can really hear where Eddie did grab some of those ideas and kind of turn them into his own thing. I think even as soon as the early 80s, Holdsworth's playing changed and it became a little less accessible. I always say on the Lifetime album, he almost sounds like a normal guitarist. So if you're looking for a good point of reference to start with Holdsworth, I recommend that album. Check it out. So if you're a fan of Eddie Van Halen, undoubtedly you've heard him talk about Allan Holdsworth being a big influence on his guitar playing. I'm a huge Allan Holdsworth fan, but I'll be honest with you, it took me a little while to really understand what he was doing because he doesn't really play like a guitar player at all. He plays more like a saxophone player. And once I started to kind of listen to his playing with that in mind, it started to make more sense to me. But especially a lot of the stuff Holdsworth was doing in the mid to late 70s, you can hear Eddie grabbing some of those ideas and kind of Eddieifying them in his own playing. So today I just want to take you through 5 examples of where this happens in Eddie's guitar playing. So I would say Eddie's Holdsworth influence kind of peaked around 1981-82. It seems like, especially on the Fair Warning album, you're hearing a lot of Holdsworthian type of things. So the first example I'm going to do here is from So This Is Love. And I just shot a video where I take you through a lot of Eddie's symmetrical scale patterns that he will often use when he's doing a lot of these Holdsworth type licks. So if we look at what Eddie typically does when he's sounding like Holdsworth, he will play a lot of the legato, hammer-on, and pull-off type licks that Holdsworth is known for and use a lot of his symmetrical scales, which happens in this lick with a slight twist. So here I'm going to use the majority of this lick with my first finger on the 9th fret. And then what I'm going to do in the beginning is stretch out. Second finger is going to go on the 10th fret, second string. Pinky's going to extend out to the 13th fret on the second string. So I have that, and then I'm just going to play hammer-ons and pull-offs. So from 9, 10, 12 on the 3rd string, 4th string, and 5th string. And then I'm just going to slide down to the note F here on the 5th string, which is the minor 3rd. So it's primarily this pattern, and I just kind of end it, by sliding 1 fret down. So another thing, even in the same solo, is he plays another pattern that has kind of a Holdsworthian vibe to it. Actually, most of the solo really sounds a lot like Allan. But yeah, I'll show you this one here. It's something like this. Okay, so this next one is going to be, again, I talk about this in the symmetrical scales video, but this is used in One Foot Out the Door, and it's also used in Beat It. It's used in the Full Bug, so you can get a lot of mileage out of this lick. So basically what you're going to do, and I'll just show it to you on 2 strings, you're going to take a minor triad stretched out over 1 string, and it's going to be fingered like this. Okay, so number 3, we're sticking with the Fair Warning album, and this is a super cool lick in Push Comes to Shove. I've seen this played different ways. It sounds like a tapping lick to me, but the idea of it is you take kind of an extended scale pattern and then tap on top of it to get a wider stretch of the note. And that lick sounds like this. So the idea of this lick is you're just basically going to have your first finger on the 5th fret, 3rd string. You're going to stretch out here on 5, 7, and 9, and then tap on the 10th fret, and you're going to just take this idea and just kind of work the G and D strings. Now, you could also do it this way. So that's another variation on how you could just take that idea and kind of slur it across the fingerboard and get a different sound than if you're tapping it. So you could just take that scale idea and just move it around. Of course, you could put it in any key, but that's another pattern you can just plug into your playing. So next we're moving on to the 1984 album. There's a couple of really good examples of this, like the end lick on Jump is very Holdsworthy-like, but it's similar to what we played earlier. There's a pattern he started playing a lot, like you hear it in Drop Dead Legs, and it basically goes like this. So this is an example where he would take a more normal scale. In this case, it's a D Dorian mode, starting on the B note on the 9th fret, 4th string, working your way up the scale. And it's more about where it lands rhythmically than the notes being exact. That's typically how Ed would play it. So there are examples of this on other songs, but Drop Dead Legs is a really good place to start as far as hearing it in context. And it has a little bit of that Holdsworth kind of sheet of sound to it. So here's 5 examples of where Eddie Van Halen sounded like Allan Holdsworth. There are definitely other ones. If they're some of your favorites, please leave them in the comments section and we can discuss. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.